Good morning, it's Nancy today. I think this hat looks like Minnie Pearl. Do you remember Minnie Pearl? Minnie Pearl was a very country woman and she had this hat. She had the price tag hanging off of it. I think she probably was a very nice lady, you know, when you think about it. How many people do that? Very eccentric. Well, I'm on my way. I am headed to Georgia. My mother's homemaker, her, what do we call her? Caretaker. My mother's caretaker, Lori. Wonderful Lori. She needs a break. She hasn't had a break since Christmas. I think she had a week off at Christmas. Well, I'm going to give her a couple weeks off. I think it's very important because she works every day almost. So I think she deserves to have 2 weeks paid vacation. Don't you think so? I think so. Anyway, so she's getting that. So I'm going to go down and hang out with my mother. And I'm on my way. I have just passed my first hurdle. Maybe it was my second or the third hurdle. My first hurdle was that the radio, I turned on the radio and nothing happened. And I turned it on again. There you go. Jump along. Guess you're not going to stick there very well today, are you? So anyway, this is my 5th hurdle then, I suppose. So my first hurdle was that the radio did not work. And I thought, oh my, this means I'm going to have to go the entire journey with no radio? I thought, well, I guess the Lord wants me to spend some time praying. So I guess I'll just pray for a few days. And I had accepted that. Later, I realized the radio was turned way down. And that was my first hurdle. My second hurdle was I have in my car, let's see if I can show it to you. See this wheel back here. This is that old potter's wheel. It's been outside for 2 years. I was going to take it to Shirley in Ohio. So I finally thought, you know what? I'm going down and back. I'm taking it. So I'm taking it to Ohio on the way back. It was making an awful lot of noise, rattling, and it was also shifting, and it's very heavy. So I had to stop. So that was my second hurdle. I had to stop and tie it up. I tied it to the back of the car. There's these little hooks, these little rings that come out from the very back of the car. So I tied them to that, and I tied the post of the wheel, where it goes in the bottom, not at the wheel itself, but down at the bottom of the wheel. I tied that tightly to the side, so it's no longer rattle, 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 rattle. Every time it went over any bump or any whatever, it was going to make a terrible noise. It was going to be a lot worse than having the chimes. I love the chimes. Anyway, that was my second hurdle. What was my third hurdle? Well, I can't find my other iPod. But it might be in here somewhere. You never know. I mean, these things are always possible. Third hurdle. Customs. I thought, well now, what are they going to say about this wheel? Are they going to expect me to pay duty for it? He had me open the window because that's what they do. Could you open the back window, please? Because these windows are all tinted, except I don't think this one's, well, maybe it is tinted. I know the front one is not, and I don't think, well, I don't know. Anyway, so that was my next hurdle, was customs. But he didn't care. You know, my cousin brought me my wheel once, or my loom. And my wheel bloom. Sorry, I have to drive. I can't just pay attention to you completely. Well, it's getting to be a beautiful day. Oh my, look at this. And there's things blooming here. Oh, we're going to have spring after all. I can see it down here. It's a little sad that I'm going to miss spring at home. I'm going to miss my irises blooming, and what comes after the irises? Oh, first I'm going to miss my tulips. The tulips and daffodils, those are, and my crocuses never did bloom. Anyway, it's very early spring at home. The leaves have just opened in the last couple of days. They're not all the way open yet. But as I go south, they'll be more and more open. So, I thought about when my cousin brought, I'm not really on one topic, am I? When my cousin brought up my grandmother's loom, and she crossed the border, and they said, and what is the value? Oh, there you go again. Look at that, you're still recording, even though you changed over to something else. Anyway, stick you back on there. Maybe you'll stay for a few minutes. She brought my grandmother's loom to me, and on the way, she stopped at customs, and they said, and what is the value of the loom? And she says, well, it's not worth anything if nobody uses it. And I thought about this wheel, this pottery wheel, which has no motor on it, so it's really, it was destined for the metal pile, and it was retrieved from there or something. It was a very interesting little tree growing out of the edge of the rock on the side of the road. Interesting. So anyway, when he saw the wheel, and I wondered if he would make me pay for it or duty or, They never even noticed it, didn't care. Asked me where I was going. I said, where? Athens, Georgia. Why? Take care of my mother. How long? 3 weeks. Okay. He checked my passport in the computer. I don't know what it says in there. It must not be too bad. He said, let me in. So now I'm in. Alrighty then, so what was my next hurdle? Oh yes, my next hurdle is this camera holding thing is going to fall. My earpiece, I have this earpiece, and it is no idea what kind it is, but anyway, that's what it looks like. And it doesn't stick into my ear deeply enough. It's very loose, and so it's also doesn't receive very well. So when I talk to my mom, I have to use my hands on my regular phone and hold the phone, which is kind of a problem because you're not allowed to do that. Big fines now. Distracted driving. Distracted driving. What about eating? I remember years ago hearing that a person eating in the car drives as erratically as a drunk. And yet distracted driving, it covers anything that distracts you. The radio distracts you. In the original cars, there were no radios. And when the first radio was put into a car, it was not really, it was rather frowned upon, like, what do you want a radio in the car for? Anyway, people liked it, they kept them, now look at what we've got. DVD players for the children. How many more miles? Well, I wonder how many more miles it is. I'm going to look and see if it says on this thing how many more miles. It doesn't say on that.
In 147 kilometers, keep right onto I-81 south.
that's where I usually turn off to go to visit my friend. But I'm not going there today. I have to make a lickety-split drive. Alright, I have to get off of this or else I won't upload. Goodbye.